Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ghost Protocol. Farden here. If you like our video, please leave a like and comment. Subscribe to stay connected with us, and we will continue to publish videos. Welcome back everyone, I am Farden. I hope you are all doing well. I am doing well too. I am moving on to a new story now. I will read it out exactly as it has been written. Brother Farden, I hope you are doing well as always. I am Raihan, a humble fan of Ghost Protocol. I am calling from Mirpur. I am currently a third semester student in the ECE department at ISTT. A story I had previously shared was also featured earlier under the title Fire Ashes Scheuten, The Devil Returns. As I have mentioned before, I collect stories of the supernatural and the paranormal out of personal interest. Today, I will recount the harrowing history of a family and the story of a fiend's monstrous triumph. The events took place in Sharpali, a village on the banks of the Jamuna River, in the Kalihati area of Tangail, a village that has since largely been swallowed by the river's destructive waters. The incident occurred in 1988, a year marked by severe floods in the country, something many of us are aware of. The family consisted of 3 members, 65-year-old Ainul Mia and his 2 sons, Ali Akbar and Amin. Let us now begin the story, exactly as it was recorded. The year was 1988. Vast tracts of land were being swallowed by the river, driven by flood waters that had breached the embankments and the relentless force of erosion. Everyone was frantically moving their homes away from the riverbank to safer ground. Ainul Maya's large homestead featured a spacious pond at the rear and an expansive orchard in front, comprising 5 living quarters and a cowshed in total. The river's erosion had advanced right up to the edge of the property. It was a gloomy day, overcast with a light drizzle and gusty winds, while the terrifying roar and turbulent waves of the Jamuna River raged just beside the house. It was on such a day that the task of dismantling the house began. With the work on all the rooms nearly complete, Ainul Maya stood in the courtyard, gazing at the ancestral homestead that had sheltered 3 generations, and began to reminisce. Images floated before his eyes, the playful antics of his childhood in that very courtyard and the golden days of his youth. He recalled how, following his father's death, he had navigated the long, arduous journey of life while overcoming adversity. Everyone else was gone. Only his wife had remained by his side. He let his thoughts drift no further. Wiping his face with his right hand, he said to his eldest son, Akbar, "Send word to the Munshi. Your mother's grave needs to be relocated." Without a moment's delay, Akbar set off hurriedly. Meanwhile, the day was advancing towards noon. Everyone was instructed to call the youngest son and have their meal. Just then, a matted-haired ascetic came running from the east side of the house. Standing before Ainul Maya and locking eyes with him, the 2 froze, appearing like statues carved of stone. Suddenly, the ascetic burst into loud laughter, ran towards the west, and plunged into the river. Unless one were stark raving mad, no one would plunge into the swirling vortex of a swift-flowing river like that, no matter how skilled a swimmer they might be. The chances of surviving such a whirlpool were virtually nil. Everyone present was momentarily stunned. Once the matted-haired man leapt into the water, he vanished without a trace. What did this mean? The locals knew all too well that a day or 2 later, the body would likely be found downstream, bloated, decomposed and reeking foully. All eyes turned toward Anil Maya. Suddenly, he collapsed to the ground, his mouth streaming with blood. Even as everyone rushed toward him, Anil Maya shuddered 3 times, bringing his earthly journey to a final close, and stepping onto the first threshold of the eternal afterlife. While one could easily imagine the profound grief of his 2 children, I will now recount, through the words of Anil Sahib's eldest son, the harrowing event that befell their lives just a week after their father's sudden passing. In a world where it felt as though the sky was collapsing, that person's affection and love had always sheltered us like a massive banyan tree. Accepting the fall of that tree is truly heartbreaking, a feeling only children who have lost their fathers can truly grasp. The ordeal began after Father's death. Just 2 days after we had finished moving our entire household, our ancestral home was being completely swallowed by the river. Standing on the riverbank, witnessing the sheer ferocity of the erosion, watching massive chunks of earth crash into the water, one could see just how terrifying the river looked. As the 2 of us brothers watched the very last traces of our home vanish, and just as the demolition of half the main room was completed, we all suddenly realized there was a well beneath the ground, something no one had ever known about, nor had Father ever mentioned. That well became the focal point for everyone who had gathered to watch the river erosion. Before our eyes, within a mere 5 minutes, it too was swallowed by the water. Needless to say, the well had been constructed by stacking large concrete rings, one atop the other. As the well broke apart into pieces, it was drifting along in the river water. Suddenly, as if moved by a shared impulse, everyone shouted out in sheer excitement. A few people jumped in. They brought us a peacock statue made entirely of brass. We, along with everyone else present, were astonished. It was a peacock statue of exquisite craftsmanship, and the 2 men eagerly cleaned it up. Little did I know then that this very statue would change our lives. Under the cover of night, I was eating my meal by the light of a kerosene lamp. Outside, there was the sound of thunder and rain. Amin asked, "Brother, have you seen the statue? It's a magnificent piece. Selling it would fetch a fortune." Nodding in agreement, I turned my attention back to the meal. In truth, the discovery of this exquisite statue could not heal the deep sorrow caused by my father's death. Suddenly, we heard the cry of an animal outside, a sound unlike anything I had ever known, leaving me completely baffled. The thought of anything supernatural did not even cross my mind at the time. Amin opened the door eagerly and exclaimed, "Brother, look. What is this?" Unenthusiastically, I moved towards the door. I stood there and saw a peacock standing in the courtyard with its plumage fully spread. Surprisingly, it was gazing directly at us from right in front of the doorway. Suddenly, at the sound of a thunderclap, it vanished from sight as if it had never been there at all. Yet, 2 people could not possibly be mistaken about the same thing. As we looked at each other in astonishment, we noticed something else. The peacock statue had begun to glow. It shone so brightly that it illuminated the entire room, making it seem as though it were broad daylight. Terrified, Amin clutched my hand. I, too, was so frightened that I felt a cold shiver running down my spine. Amidst the rain, a flock of birds was incessantly pecking and scratching at the tin roof. Trembling with fear, I kept muttering whatever prayers and verses I could recall. At that moment, I felt utterly helpless, the most helpless person in the world. We screamed at the top of our lungs. Neighbors came running through the rain. I lost consciousness. Everyone wanted to know what had happened, and I told them everything. They took us from one house to another, leaving that statue behind in the room just as it was. The next morning, the moment we entered the room, we saw a circle drawn in blood around the statue with a triangle inside it. Terrified, I began to call upon Allah. What kind of satanic sign was this? Even though it was broad daylight, my heart was pounding wildly in that room. Summoning some courage, I approached the statue to examine it. In my fear and panic, the statue seemed almost alive to me. The statue had a peculiar feature: 2 toes on each foot. Although the statue was exquisitely crafted, it didn't feel right to keep it in the house. So I took it and threw it into the river. I assumed that was the end of the trouble, but that notion was proven wrong later that night. I was returning home, alone, after performing the Isha prayer. The courtyard was new. Fresh soil had been laid there, and the ground was still somewhat low. Let me mention that I am a devout man who prays regularly. But for some reason that day, she had told me she wouldn't be going, claiming she was feeling unwell. As I walked across the courtyard, I noticed that no lights had been turned on inside the house. I called out twice from the outside, but received no response. A nameless dread began to grip me, and I felt that leaving her like this had been a mistake. Panic raced through my mind as I suddenly stumbled and fell hard onto the ground. Just as I was bracing myself on my hands to stand up, I saw Amin, who had silently crept right in front of me, crawling on all fours like a small child. His mouth stretched wide in a soundless, eerie grin. I was shocked, and in a moment I immediately rushed to control myself and fell backwards. God, what is happening to me? I saw the devil in front of me. He started spinning around in circles very quickly. I ran unconscious in happiness. Where should I go? Who should I go to? I had only my father in this world. He is no more. Is it right to disturb the neighbors like this again and again? I am running, and I am crying with sadness. I have no relatives to go to. Suddenly it came to my mind that when I was a child, I thought of the imam at the maktab where I used to study. I ran to his house, weeping. The gate was locked from the outside, and I shouted, "Huzur! Huzur!" in a voice choked with sobs. A voice called out from within, asking who it was. I replied, "Huzur, it's me, Ali Akbar, please open the gate." Hearing my tearful voice, he quickly came and unlocked it. I stood outside, still sobbing and gasping for breath. I must admit this. I feel no shame anymore. I have become like a helpless child. I am the loneliest person on earth. Holding the hurricane lantern, Huzur asked gently, "Son, what has happened at this hour?" I was already grieving the loss of my father, and hearing him address me as son made it impossible for me to hold back my emotions. I embraced him respectfully. After I recounted the details regarding Amin, he said, "Look, son, my knowledge on this matter is very limited. You should seek refuge in Allah. After the Fajr prayer, I will take you to a Huzur who can help. Just get through this night somehow. Come, let's go to your house." As Huzur and I stepped into the house, a strange feeling, a profound silence settled in. Huzur said, "Do not be afraid, recite the surah. Seek help from Allah." We then proceeded across the courtyard as usual. In the light of the hurricane lamp, I noticed 2-fingered imprints on the ground, resembling the markings on that peacock statue. Seeing those footprints instantly brought the statue to mind. The door to the house was open. I called out, "Amin, Amin," but received no response. Slowly, Huzur and I stepped into the room. Huzur leading the way with me following close behind. As soon as I stepped inside, I was dumbfounded. A circle and a triangle within it were drawn in bright red blood, and Amin lay curled up inside like a small child. Just as I moved forward to touch him, the Huzur said, "Stop, Ayur, do not touch him." Standing outside the circle, the Huzur recited verses from the Quran and blew 7 times over Amin's body. Amin then turned from his left side to his right, opened his eyes, and stared at us, leaving us completely bewildered. His eyes were a vivid blood red. His body gave a sudden jolt that left us astonished. Once he regained his senses, Amin said, "Brother, take me away, they will kill me." Saying this, he clung to me tightly. Huzur reassured him, saying, "Do not be afraid. Inshallah, Allah will keep you safe from the devil. There is no danger today. We will go to Bahalamat tomorrow." Then Huzur took a glass of water, faced west, recited some prayers, and gave the water to Amin to drink. The next day, the 3 of us set out for Bahalamat by boat. It was well past midday by the time we arrived. After disembarking from the boat, we performed the Zuhr prayer at a mosque by the riverbank. Following the prayer, we walked for about 10 minutes along a narrow lane leading south through the main market and spotted a madrasa. It was named Belamabad Madrasa. Upon entering, we inquired and learned that the mufti was in the fatwa department on the 2nd floor. We proceeded there. Standing outside his room, our companion offered the salam, Islamic greeting. Glancing toward the door and recognizing him, the mufti warmly returned the greeting and stepped forward to meet us. He came and escorted us to the room. Upon entering, I saw nothing but books everywhere. It was truly a vast ocean of books. Mufti Sahib inquired about our situation, and Huzur recounted the entire incident. After listening to everything, Mufti Sahib remarked that Satan always derives pleasure from tormenting people. Reassuring us, he said, "The word of God will protect you. Inshallah, I will look into this matter after the Isha prayer." He then brought a young man over and seated him before us, explaining that he would ask a few questions, attempting to find the answer to the question. Afterward, the Huzur asked us to recite Surah Al-Fatiha, Al-Falaq, An-Nas, and Ayat al-Kursi. Then the Huzur recited up to the end of the first ruku section of Surah Al-Jinn. As he began the second ruku, the Huzur seated in the middle joined in, reciting in a magnificent voice that harmonized perfectly with the first. I had never heard such beautiful recitation before. Upon finishing the recitation, the Huzur seated in the middle kept his eyes closed. Then the jinn, possessing him, offered salam to us in a calm, steady, and solemn voice. The silence deepened to the point where I could hear the sound of my own breathing. Everyone present returned the salam. Just as the mufti was about to speak, the jinn, sensing his intent, interjected, "I know everything. I've been observing them ever since they arrived today." He then revealed his identity, stating, "This servant's name is Abdur Rahman. These 2 brothers bear no fault regarding the calamity that has befallen the host's household. I am fully aware of the situation. My son, Abdus Shams, will come to assist you on my behalf. He resides in the Hindu Kush Mountains, far to the north of this Bengal." I said to my brother, the silent Huzur Sahib and Mufti Sahib, "There are so many wondrous beings in God's creation." Mufti Sahib smiled gently and replied, "You are quite right. The man who is coming is 535 years old." Just then, a salam was offered in a solemn, dignified manner. Everyone returned the greeting. "I have received word from my father. would consider myself blessed to have the opportunity to assist you in any way. Mufti Sahib said, "My guest is in distress." Abdus Shams said, "Let the person who is afflicted sit near me." My younger brother went and sat beside him. Abdus Shams held the little finger of his left hand and recited something. We witnessed Amin shaking violently, like someone seized by severe tremors. I was about to speak, but Huzur sensed it and signaled me to remain silent. Observing Amin's hand, I noticed the veins bulging out. He was sweating profusely, just as a person does in intense heat. The hair on his body was standing on end. The eyeballs had rolled back. The strangest thing was the expression on the face. It was smiling. Fear made my throat go dry. Then Abdus Shams said, "Tell everyone present who you are." It seemed as though two voices were speaking simultaneously in a harsh tone. "Whoever I may be, you know full well that these people are all mere insects. They will die at my hands. I shall kill them." Abdus Shams then squeezed Amin's little finger even harder and twisted it to the left. The figure screamed out, "Let me go! You are hurting me for the sake of these insignificant insects, Abdus Shams." Then, reciting a verse from the Quran, he asked, "Why are you tormenting these innocent children?" Satan replied, "It was not a matter of necessity. The one who inflicted the pain is their own kin." Abdus Shams said, "There is no point in recounting past history now, just keep them a little aside." Satan retorted, "I remained imprisoned within a peacock for years to accomplish a minor task. If I return empty-handed, where shall I go? Where will my honor remain?" Abdus Shams said, "You intend to assert your glory by killing innocent people?" Regarding my own capability, not the slightest. Then, reciting a verse from the Quran, he asked, "Why are you tormenting these innocent children?" Satan replied, "It was not necessary. The one who inflicted the pain is their own kin." Abdus Shams said, "There is no point in recounting past history now. Just keep them aside for a moment." Satan said, "I remained imprisoned within a peacock for years to accomplish a minor task. If I return empty-handed, where shall I go? Where will my honor remain?" Abdus Shams remarked, "So, you intend to assert your glory by killing innocent people? Had you the slightest idea of my capabilities, you would not have spoken this way. I certainly will not let you off the hook. You shall not harm these children." At this, a hint of fear appeared in the demon possessing Amin. It asked, "Are you dispensing justice or committing an outrage? What is my offense?" Abdul Shams glanced to his right and left, gesturing as if someone were present there. We looked in both directions, filled with dread. Then it seemed as though someone was trying to drag Amin upwards. Amin fell silent and slumped to the right. Meanwhile, the jinn was still screaming, demanding to be released. Abdus Shams said, "The devil has been subdued, rest assured." He explained that the reason for this insolence lay in the boy's lineage. 3 years into the marriage, a son was born to Ainul Sahib. In those days, a son tended to garner a great deal of love and affection from everyone. Consequently, the relationship between Ainul's wife and the rest of the household, particularly Ainul's mother, improved somewhat. It was at this time that the boy was named Hussein. The real ordeal began when their son was just 2 or 3 months old. It started one night when Ainul Sahib's wife was preparing to go to bed. She had dimmed the hurricane lamp and was setting up the mosquito net. In that moment, she noticed a child, apparently around 5 years old, standing at the edge of the room. She was startled at first, as there was no child of that age in the house. She was seized by sheer terror when the child covered a distance of nearly 10 cubits in a single leap, reached the edge of the bed and, gazing at the sleeping Hossein, laughed silently. In the dim light, it was just clear enough to see that the figure's face was abnormally large and that it had only 2 digits on each hand and foot. Hussein's mother screamed aloud. As the figure advanced to grab Hussein, an unseen force of wind hurled it away with the speed of a storm. This sequence repeated itself. Just then, the other family members arrived and witnessed the scene simultaneously. Hussein collapsed onto the floor unconscious. After regaining consciousness, he recounted the entire incident in detail. When everyone asked him about it, everyone sought the services of a huzur for spiritual healing and incantations, including the use of blessed water. On the 3rd day following the initial incident, another bizarre event occurred. A headless cow was found in the household's cowshed each day. News of these events spread rapidly, becoming the talk of the town, discussed in markets, bazaars, and social gatherings alike. Despite repeatedly summoning traditional healers, ojas, to perform rituals and remedies, no solution was found. Amidst this situation, the health of 2 household members deteriorated drastically. They became alarmingly emaciated. The limbs become so emaciated that the ability to walk is lost. On the 11th day of the ordeal, Anil's father was sitting in the accounts room, busy with his calculations. Just then, Anil's mother arrived, bringing a tray with flattened rice, puffed rice, jaggery, and water. He was writing, his eyes fixed on the ledger, occasionally snacking on the puffed rice. Suddenly, he noticed Anil's mother standing behind him and touching his right earlobe with 2 fingers. He started in surprise, suddenly remembering that Anil's mother was unable to walk. He turned around and saw the figure resembling Anil's mother is tearing at its own left arm with its teeth. She screams to alert everyone and rushes out of the room. Hearing the scream, everyone comes running. Meanwhile, the sound of laughter is heard coming from Hossein's mother's room as well. Everyone rushes in that direction and sees a circle and a triangle drawn on the wall. Hossein's mother is crawling along the wall on all 4s, moving like a spider. Anil lifts Hossein from the bed, carries him out, and latches the door from the outside. The events unfold so rapidly that everyone is left stunned and bewildered. The most harrowing event was yet to befall them. Everyone looked at one another in alarm, murmuring prayers and supplications. The youngest uncle said, "Let's go to Bobby's room. She is alone." They all rushed there and forcefully pushed open the door to Anil's room. Upon entering, the uncle asked Anil's mother, "Are you all right?" The rest of the family stood near the doorway behind him. She was lying on her bed on her right side, her back turned toward the door, appearing as though she were asleep. Approaching her with a dry throat and a voice trembling with fear, Ainul Sahib spoke. The mother sat up in bed and looked around at everyone. "Why are you holding my Babu like that? Give him to me. Hand him over." No one said a word. Behind them, Ainul's aunt was muttering prayers under her breath. Taking Babu into her lap and looking at Ainul, she said, "Get me some water, will you? I'm terribly thirsty." Just then, a harrowing scream from Ainul Sahib's father rang out. He was in another room, surrounded by a circle of people. Everyone rushed towards the sound. At that moment, a look of anguish flashed across Babu's face for a split second. Everyone stared at the bed in shock. Ainul Sahib lost consciousness as he gazed at the bed. When he came to, he found himself on the veranda of his home, His younger uncle and aunt were by his head. The clamor of a house filled with people drifted to his ears. A little further away, his wife sat. Several people were pouring water over her head. Nearby, his elder uncle was conversing with a huzur, a religious man, clad in a long beard and a traditional robe. Saheb thought of his child. He screamed out once more and lost consciousness. He regained consciousness after water was poured over his head. He saw 3 bodies laid out. Weeping, he moved towards them. The scene revealed that when Anil had turned to look at the bed, he saw Babu torn in 2, ripped apart by the legs. Babu's grandmother held the right side of the boy's body with the head dangling from it in one hand and the left side in the other. The entire bed was soaked in blood. Anil's mother had committed suicide by wrapping the end of her sari around her neck and pulling it tight with both hands. Meanwhile, despite a thorough search of the entire house, Anil's father cannot be found. The funeral prayers for the 3 deceased are held. Through the efforts of Ainul's paternal uncle, a huzur, religious scholar, is located. The following morning, the huzur arrives at the house with his tablighi companions as arranged. He states that this shadow did not come on its own. It was summoned. He says he will return to the house after the Isha prayers. However, there is a catch. This shadow does not let go of the person it summons. The huzur does not even drink water in that house. Then a strange incident occurs. Ainul is sitting in a chair. It is evening. It was shortly after Maghrib. Darkness had largely settled over the surroundings. He was sitting in an easy chair when he suddenly noticed something strange happening beneath his feet. Some unseen force was trying to drag him away but failing. It was as if something was holding Ainul fast. Then a voice drifted to his ears. His eldest uncle's voice, filled with a mixture of terror and anguish. Ainul, where are you? Look, my boy, I am ruined. Oh, I am utterly undone. Why didn't I die? Why am I forced to witness such scenes with my own eye? That was when he found himself roused from sleep. Startled by his uncle's call, he scrambled out of bed. As he stood up, he saw his uncle kneeling before him, clutching his head in utter anguish and despair. Upon seeing his uncle, Ainul Saheb rushed to his eldest aunt's room, only to find her lying on the bed facing the wall. His heart skipped a beat the moment his eyes fell upon the floor. There lay a pair of severed feet. Choking back sobs and calling out, "Boroami, Boroami," he approached and beheld the horrific sight. Let me state right here that I am deeply saddened. The text is written in such a way that much of it is difficult to comprehend. I am struggling to decipher and understand it as I read. Let us see. Meanwhile, my younger uncle and aunt arrived. They too saw that my elder aunt's abdomen had been slit open and her entrails pulled out. Her eyes were hanging loose. Badshah Huzur arrived, accompanied by 2 companions. He examined everything. Father, do not touch your elder aunt for the time being, he said. I took a long time, and this one took the longest of all to catch. Everyone saw a man dressed in black, wearing a black lungi with several garlands around his neck and more adorning his arms and wrists. He was a gaunt, smiling figure with a shaved head, earning him the nickname Shakshat Shaitan, the devil incarnate. Ainul Saheb addressed the huzur, saying, After my mother, he was the person I loved and respected the most. Now even he has left me. From behind, the eldest uncle began to sob audibly. The huzur said, My son, this is not the time for weeping. You must compose yourself. The janazah, funeral prayer, will take place first. The The family members, Ainul Sahib, his wife, the younger uncle and aunt, and the eldest uncle, took their places at the front. Directly in front of him sat the Huzur and his companions. Among them was the Huzur himself. He took a peacock figurine out of his bag, an object roughly 15 to 20 centimeters tall, or slightly longer than the span of a hand. It was crafted from polished brass and featured exquisite workmanship. The Jatadari, the man with matted hair, had his hands and feet bound. The Huzur then declared, "I shall imprison this Kanas. I detest lies. Tell me, why do you wish to harm these people?" The Jatadari gave a dead hollow smile and said, "Me?" Then laughing he added, "What will you do? Go ahead, do it." "Do you know whom I've summoned to destroy this family?" he asked, bursting into laughter. Huzur sternly rebuked him. He then poured some water, infused with spiritual incantations, over the matted-haired man and recited prayers. Huzur wound a lock of the man's long matted hair around the little finger of his own right hand. Suddenly the man began to groan. Smiling faintly, the figure spoke. "The dark shadow of death. How deeply the living cling to life. I shall shatter the very foundations. I will not leave this homestead." Huzur replied, "Shadow, you shall not get that chance." The shadow retorted, "Humans are strange creatures." Upon seeing the knife and the look on the other person's face, even though the others present could not grasp the situation, Huzur realized that the real snake was right there in the room. However, he did not want Chaya to utter the name in front of everyone. He intended to deal with the matter first and explain the situation to the others later. But just as Chaya was about to speak, Huzur blew a breath over something, recited Bismillah, and flung it at her. The evil entity let out a piercing shriek, and amidst that scream, it turned its gaze toward Ainul Sahib's younger aunt. Huzur then realized who was behind this scheme. Grasping the situation, Ainul Sahib's aunt hurled a bell-metal tumbler at the matted-haired man's face, leaving everyone present stunned. He stammered, "I did this out of fear." Just as Huzur's attention was momentarily diverted, the man bolted backward, grabbed a knife from the table and drove it forcefully into the area between the chest and abdomen of Ainul Sahib's eldest uncle. The incident unfolded so rapidly that before Huzur's companions could intervene, the uncle collapsed to the ground, drenched in blood. As the Huzur splashed the prepared liquid onto the Jatadari's body, the man collapsed to the ground, roaring with laughter. The peacock figurine was placed upon the Jatadari's chest, and prayers and invocations were recited. Pressing his right knee against the man's abdomen, the Huzur held the figurine firmly against his chest. The Jatadari began vomiting blood and then lost consciousness. Through yet another heart-wrenching incident, the family had to accept another death. That very night, the bodies of the eldest uncle and aunt were washed, the funeral prayers were performed, and they were laid to rest. The Huzur remarked that it was possible someone had made a mistake out of ignorance. I would like to ask a few questions and mention something. Ainul and his wife could have suffered far worse harm, but a weak jinn helped them right from the start. That is why his wife is still alive. Later, when Ainul's father was sleeping in the chair, that spirit launched a terrifying attack, specifically under the tree where Ainul's father-in-law had passed away. From that day on, that jinn has stayed with Ainul's wife. Subsequently, the aunt was brought in. Huzur asked, "Mother, were you compelled to do this? Just tell me that much." Looking down and gesturing towards her husband, Chachi said, His elder brother destroyed my family. My father was a small-time trader at the market. They demanded a huge sum as dowry at the time of the wedding, and continued to make demands even afterwards. Even after we sold off our house and all our land, my father was publicly humiliated in the marketplace, in front of everyone, because he could not pay the full dowry amount. Unable to bear that humiliation, my father passed away about 2 years ago. My younger brother has been missing ever since. I have no idea how he is doing or where he is now. Not since our father passed away. I never even saw my mother. She was gone right after I was born. There is no trace of my brother either. I searched extensively but found nothing. He destroyed my family forever. My elder brother was a tantric practitioner, something our father absolutely detested. He had many disciples, and that matted-haired man was one of them. I sought him out and asked him to perform a black magic ritual, not to kill anyone, but simply to make my elder brother leave us alone. Anil's mother used to look after me just like her own child. I was truly as devastated by her death as everyone else. I never wanted to kill anyone, no one at all, I said. Everyone fell silent listening to her words. No one could utter a sound. Breaking the silence, the Huzoor said, "I shall take my leave now. This is a deeply private moment for you all." With that, he offered his salam and departed. After these events had unfolded, Mufti Sahib sighed, looked at me and said, "This was the history behind your family. That is precisely why your uncle remains estranged from you and your grandparents. And since your father has also passed away, I am certain about this matter. We always return after everything has played out. Yet I never imagined that I, too, would end up alone in this world, just like your father." 2 days after returning home, Amin contracted black fever. He wasted away to skin and bone, and within just 7 days, departed from this world. Fardin Bhai, this is the story I gathered. If you like it, please read it out. That is how the story concluded. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do let me know if you did. Thank you all so much for watching the story to the end. We will meet again with a new story. Until then, take care of yourselves and your families. Goodbye.